So I bought all of these toy cars just to get this toy car. The reason being that I recognized it the instant I saw it. I just thought, I have no idea what you're called. I don't know who makes you. So if I don't buy you now, the odds are I will never ever see you again, and that answer will remain forever lost to me. So I have to answer that question, and so I'm going to grab you. And so I had to get all of these in order to grab that one car. However, I'm going to have a look through all of these and try and figure out exactly what I've got in terms of Corgis and Dinkies and yesteryears and all sorts in here, because there are some quite interesting ones in here. So I'm going to have a little sort, and I'm going to come back to you and show you exactly what I did actually pick up as well. So in my headcanon, I associate this little car with Wrexham, the same Wrexham that Ryan Reynolds now owns the football club of. And I think my mum probably bought it for me from a little toy shop there. There were quite a few really good toy shops in Wrexham that I remember quite clearly from my very early childhood. And amongst my memories of Wrexham are things like Face's A-Team Corvette that had sort of spring-out guns and, you know, sort of cutting blades and things like that. Now this is, and I wouldn't have known this at the time, I suspect, it was a PF Modulo. And this was a concept car by Ferrari. It came out in 1970, and I believe it didn't even have an engine in at the time. It was literally kind of a shell. But as you can see, it was a rather sort of novel concept. It has these very distinctive little sort of enclosed wheels, rear engine. But I always rather loved the fact that it had this slide open canopy. And this is exactly like the real car had this as well. And it did drive. They did put an engine in it ultimately. But I love the fact that it's still got all its windows. And it's it's a bit scuffed, but it was immediately recognisable. But it's one of those weird things, because had I not looked at this particular auction and zoomed in briefly on it, I would never in a million years have known what to look for, or what its name was, or anything like that. It was sheer chance. And what are the odds of me coming across this? Out of all the eBay auctions out there, how on earth did I happen to stumble upon this and immediately recognise this as a car that I had when I was little? The mind does boggle. It had these little, these were pop-up headlights. I don't know if they ever actually popped up on the toy, mind you. As far as I can tell, this was made by it was the brand was Superior Racers, and there were only sort of 4 produced, possibly, of a sort of similar ilk in terms of just kind of general race cars. So as you can see, there's no clue on the back of it as to who did it. It just says pullback action, which doesn't work anymore, but it was a friction pullback car. PF Modulo SS904, made in Hong Kong. And scale is apparently 1 something. Not sure what scale it is. I can't even read that when I'm not looking at it on the screen. It looks like sort of 59th or something to me, but perhaps on a big screen it'll be obvious when it's on playback. But basically, you would just sort of pull it back. There's no vestige of the friction element of it anymore, sadly. But it was just that modern looking and unusual and futuristic at the time when I got it that I was very much taken with it. And that's why it just stuck in my memory as one of those really sort of early cars. It was a bit unusual. It almost looks like a sort of Jerry Anderson series kind of car, but as it turns out, it was just a sort of a modern imagining of what what a sort of futuristic car might look like. But it did drive, and it was a Ferrari of all things. So nice to have identified it and picked it up completely randomly. Now, as to what was in the rest of the lot, well, as you can see, quite a lot of stuff. Over on this side, we have Lesney Products Matchbox type toys, various cars there, various eras, some super fast, some super kings. Now, up at the top left there, we have I think it's pronounced Lido, a single Lido car. And down here, we have an Italian make, which is not Palitoy, but Polytoy. And that's a Brabham F1 Scala 132 scale made in Italy. So there were some quite nice examples. A lot of them are quite battered and old. Some of them are 50 years old. That's a Majoretta made in France, apparently, a tractor pulley sort of thing. The ones in the middle here are Corgis. The one up there is a Corgi Junior, which is, I think, used to pull a petrol tanker, if I remember rightly. So these are very sort of older school of Corgis. Now, these are also Matchbox, but these are Matchbox yesteryear. Now, these ones look like really old yesteryears. This is the sort of yesteryear that I remember that my dad used to get me. And then these are Dinkies. So, Dinky bus, Dinky manure spreader, delightfully, and a Jaguar. What I like about the Jaguar, and indeed some of these other cars, is that they've all got a little bit of playability to them. So the bonnet goes up on that one. And these aren't ones I often get. I see them in the catalogues, but they're not ones I would set out to get. But because I was hell-bent on getting the Modulo, I ended up with these as well. But you can see they're quite nice examples of the various. I mean, they're all a little bit play-worn inevitably because they're ancient. But I just thought it was quite nice to have sort of randomly pick them up and have some examples. This one's even still got its aerial attached to it. So you can see there, Dinky Toys Meccano Limited, and its catalogue number there, 131. An E-type. So I've no idea whatsoever at the moment if any of these are actually worth anything to speak of. The Modulo has a little bit of value, but it's not sort of huge. But I didn't pay a shed loads for the lot as a whole because none of them are in sort of really minty condition. Although that being said, the F1 car is in really nice shape. That Jaguar wasn't too bad. There's a Pontiac there. I'm getting Smokey and the Bandit vibes from that one. I'm sure I've seen that in other auctions before now, so maybe that's a slightly collectible one. I'm not sure. The Lido police car is also in quite nice condition as well. But these are various flavours of sort of left ones, and even these little ones have got a little bit of sort of activity going on them as well. So I'm going to have a little sort of look. If push comes to shove, there's a local shop that might take these from me, I suspect. And failing that, I might even try going on the old eBay and just sort of lossing them up again, but in slightly smaller lots, perhaps. I don't know. But I've also got a twin horse-drawn carriage for no apparent reason, which is must be British. It's Kent Fire Brigade on it. So I haven't been able to determine who makes that. It feels a little bit like it could be a Dinky kind of product. I'm not quite sure. And I've also got a random motorbike, which again I'm not sure of the origins of. But yeah, so I achieved my purpose in being able to pin that down and identify it successfully. So I'm very happy about that as a concept because it would have been a shame to have missed it. And I just about got it. It was a bit tight, but I did manage to get it. But I didn't pay loads for the whole lot at all. But good old diecast toys, you love them. So yeah, so if you have any knowledge on any of these, it would be delightful to hear in the comments. If you can, give me any sort of insights into any of those that I've just shown you, and I'll let you know how I get on perhaps at some point if I do as and when I get rid of them all again. Cheers for now.